As a woman, March 8 every year resonates with lots of questions that has been left unanswered. A reminder for another call to action. It is the International Women's Day, a significant day for women globally, calling on nations to accelerate action for gender equality. Also, it emphasizes the collective role women can play and the importance of taking swift and decisive steps to achieve gender equality, while calling for increased momentum and urgency in addressing the systematic barriers and biases that women face in different spheres of their lives. As women continue to face different obstacles, the theme for this year is advocating for all women and girls' rights, equality, empowerment, calling for an action to unlock equal rights, power and opportunities for all, where no one is left behind. This year's celebration is crucial in the global pursuit of gender equality and women's empowerment, as it marks the 30th anniversary of the Beijing Declaration and Platform for Action, which was adopted at the 4th World Conference on Women in 1995 in Beijing, China. The platform guides policies, programs and investment that impact critical areas like education, health, peace, media, political participation, economic empowerment, and the elimination of violence against women and girls. What next? Are women going to wait for another 30 years to fulfill the promise of gender equality? Well, women are encouraged to stand stronger, more united and determined to break barriers to achieve gender equality. Tonight on Weekend File, we'll beam our spotlight on International Women's Day, Breaking Barriers. And our guest is Mrs. Edna Azura, President of the National Council for Women's Society. Thank you for joining us. This is Weekend File. I'm Ruth Aguele. Before we delve into the issues, first, let's bring you the news. Nigeria's First Lady Oluremi Tinubu has called on women to endeavor to lift each other up, one woman at a time. This is in her message commemorating this year's International Women's Day celebration, extolling the strength and achievements of all women and girls across Nigeria and the world. The First Lady says the theme for the celebration for all women and girls' rights, equality, empowerment serves as a powerful reminder of the need to reaffirm commitment to building a society where every woman and girl can thrive, free from discrimination and limitations. She notes that it is time for women to make this happen, urging them to stand up and play their part. Similarly, Kwara State Governor and Chairman Nigerian Governors Forum, Abdurrahman Abdurrazak, celebrates women in Kwara State and across the world for their resilience, creativity, and the joy that they bring to every space they occupy. He notes that women are critical stakeholders in the society, and in the quest for sustainable development, they play important roles in development, social cohesion, and progress. And his administration recognizes this and promised to continue to promote initiatives, policies and legislations that protect the rights of women and offer equitable opportunities. Also, the Nigerian Institute of Public Relations celebrates with women across Nigeria and beyond. President of the Institute, Ike Neliaku, promises to uphold the principle of gender equity based on merit, driven by character and competence. As the world celebrates, NIPR calls on governments and private organizations to make deliberate efforts to create level playing grounds to accelerate action on gender equity. Women's education and empowerment has once again been projected as stakeholders meet on the need to intensify efforts towards quality education and better learning outcomes. This is as the Federal Ministry of Education inaugurates committees for quality education and the Lumina initiative for girl-child education. Let's hear more from Zenret Demun.
School grading and upgrading, value addition, monitoring and evaluation,
In addition to teachers' capacity building, are major areas being enhanced to achieve Nigeria's educational goals. Now, strengthening partnerships with the Ministries of Industry, Trade and Investment, Women Affairs, and the National Information Technology Development Agency, NITDA, the ministry believes will better drive the action plan, ensuring the impact is far-reaching.
If you achieve parity with men in tech, it will create huge wealth and prosperity for our nation.
By investing in inclusive learning opportunities, we are not just educating individuals, we are building stronger families, resilient communities, and a more prosperous nation.
We must continue to, become innovative and creative, come up with the ideas that matter. I would like to pledge my commitment to ensuring that we work in a collaborative manner.
The Lumina Girl Child Initiative and the broader quality education and learning outcome programs are all targeted towards addressing out of school, the high burden of out of school children that we currently have in the country.
The ministry expects that the implementation stage of all these policies will be handled with the necessary precision and effectiveness. In Abuja, Zenred Dingmun, NTA News.
In other news, Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, urges Nigerians, particularly Muslims, to use the month of Ramadan to promote national unity. The minister was among dignitaries at the 2025 Ramadan lecture, jointly organized by leading public broadcasters in the country, the Nigerian Television Authority, Federal Radio Corporation of Nigeria, and the Voice of Nigeria. Salihu Abdullahi Gwanara reports.
And I do hope the management of the NTA and the other sister stations will continue to uphold this very important lecture every year.
Passionate appeal from the man who is providing the right leadership in the last 2 years to the agencies under his watch, who are already making him proud with forums such as these as parts of their corporate social responsibilities for 19 years. Recommendations from the in-depth analysis of this year's lecture topic, faith, politics and power, the minister assured will come handy as parts of the narratives in seeking for solutions to the internal and external political dynamics in the country.
During this holy month of Ramadan, where families come together in supplication, reflection, solidarity and compassion for one another, the triple effect of today's theme viz. Faith, politics and power are intertwined with our yesterday, with our today, and God willing, our tomorrow. Undoubtedly, it is a phenomenon that we must all continue to navigate.
He assured that the 2025 budget of 54 trillion naira holds the key to a prosperous Nigeria.
It is an ambitious one of about 54 trillion naira, but which puts so much emphasis on national security, education, infrastructure, health, and agriculture. In addition, one of the most outstanding outcomes of the policies of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is the creation of the Federal Ministry of Livestock Development.
He equally appealed to Muslim faithful to showcase the spirit and teachings of Ramadan to promote national unity. From Kaduna, Salihu Abdullahi Gwanara, NTA News.
The House of Representatives says it is aggregating the inputs of Nigerians towards enriching the tax reform bills with a view to making them stand the test of time. Chairman, House Committee on Finance, James Falake, stated this as committee members round up class-by-class consideration of the bills. National Assembly correspondent Mitaira Ikpen reports.
Leveraging on their diverse professional expertise, members of the House Committee on Finance carefully consider each of the 4 tax reform bills, taking into account public input. They identify clauses that require retention, amendment, or revision, with the ultimate goal of ensuring the tax bills align with the public's aspiration for significant reform in Nigeria's tax administration. Through robust discussions and debates, committee members work towards consensus on the bills.
All the issues raised have been well considered. We are making our recommendations in our own opinion. So when we do lay the report and the House considers it and approve it with them, we are very sure that it will stand the test of time. Nigerians will be happy.
And I think the spirit behind this consolidated tax is to be in tandem with international and global best practices and to promote ease of doing business.
There's been no divergence. We've all come together to say this bill must pass because we see it as a sine qua non to the renewed hope agenda of Mr. President.
Like other developed countries, if we do a little into how much we can collect in taxes, I think many of all these deficiencies, we are having in government, having no money to do some spending, infrastructures and other stuff like that, will be a thing of the past.
The committee's objective is to present a comprehensive report that captures the best interests of Nigerians, ultimately refining the tax bills into legislations that will reflect modern realities. Mitaire Ikben, NTA News.
The Nigerian Air Force will continue to place premium on personnel welfare by investing in decent housing and enabling an environment where personnel thrive to further strengthen the foundation for enhanced proficiency and unwavering professionalism and service to the nation. The Chief of the Air Staff, Air Marshal Hassan Abubakar, affirmed this while inaugurating remodeled accommodation for married personnel and transit quarters at the 053 headquarters NAF camp at Garki, Abuja. Defense correspondent Olajide Bello reports.
Over the past 20 months, we have initiated over 340 infrastructural projects, out of which 195 have been completed and 145 at various stages of completion.
A comfortable home is more than just shelter, but a sanctuary that nurtures peace of mind, allowing personnel to focus fully on duty and excel in tasks and missions. The Chief of the Air Staff, Air Marshal Hassan Abubakar, reaffirming his commitment to reducing the Nigerian Air Force housing deficit through developmental projects across NAF bases in the country.
Our goal is to reduce this deficit by 50% by the end of this year. I therefore encourage all personnel to leverage these facilities, contribute innovative ideas that will enhance air power and promote self-reliance in line with global advancements.
The Air Chief attributed all the developmental strides to President Bola Tinubu's unwavering commitment and provision for the armed forces and the NAF in particular. Olajide Bello, NTA News.
President Bola Tinubu congratulates his longtime ally and friend, former Vice President Yemi Osinbajo, on his 60th birthday. President Tinubu describes him as a close ally, friend and brother. The president affirms that as Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice during his administration as Lagos State Governor, Professor Osinbajo partnered with him to institute many political and judicial reforms in the state using the instrumentality of the law. President Tinubu acknowledges that Professor Osinbajo exercised his democratic right and freedom in 2023 when he contested alongside him for the presidential ticket of the All Progressives Congress. The president remarks, and I quote, "Professor Yemi Osinbajo will always remain my friend and associate. He served our country meritoriously as vice president to that patriotic leader, President Muhammadu Buhari. He made all of us in the All Progressives Congress proud by working collaboratively and harmoniously with the president without rancor." End of quote. President Tinubu condoles with the Minister of State for Health, Dr. Kunle Salako, and members of his family on the loss of their mother, Fadilat Anike Salako. President Tinubu urged the minister to be consoled by the legacies of hard work and family values bequeathed by his late mother, adding that the passing of a mother is always painful. President Bola Tinubu has also extended his heartfelt condolences to the family of the late Mabel Shegun, a renowned Nigerian writer, poet and playwright. She passed away on Thursday, just a month after celebrating her 95th birthday. President Tinubu acknowledged her remarkable legacy, highlighting her first book, My Father's Daughter, published in 1965, which received global acclaim and remains a guiding light for aspiring writers and literary enthusiasts. The president prayed for the repose of the soul and offered divine comfort to her family during this difficult time. We're taking a break now. Remember, it is International Women's Day. Why don't you stay tuned? Let's break those barriers together. Thank you for staying with us. Today, the world is standing still to celebrate the strength, resilience and achievements of women who have excelled in all spheres of endeavor. Though remarkable progress has been made on all fronts, there are still gaps to be covered. I'm sure you agree with this. Well, on this day, Momso Damien Deti brings us up to speed on the journey so far.
We have to recognize that girls and women are a gift. They have strength, and we have to unleash that strength.
Women raising high the Nigerian flag on the international scene.
We are happy we are coming on board. We are happy we are being recognized. But that will not stop there. We want to be recognized all over. We want to recognize in all ramifications of life.
In governance, corridors of power, and places of influence, their voices are growing stronger.
We are not where we want to be, but definitely we are not where we used to be. And so we are moving forward, and our expectation is that, women will have a place where, women are recognized.
On the other side of the coin is Adama, engulfed in her world of hustle to support her family, oblivious to the existence of the International Women's Day. For her sake, and that of many other women alike, striving or breaking glass ceilings, the International Women's Day became a global event.
Where did we make progress? What are the emerging challenges? Because the things that they discussed 30 years ago, they are not the ones now we are seeing new things.
While so much has been achieved, much more is still desired, considering the rising cases of gender-based violence, dwindling figures in elective and selective positions, among others.
The Nigerian government should make sure that the national gender policy works so that we have more women in governance, as permanent secretaries, as ministers, in elective positions.
We're not saying that men and women are equal. At creation, God created us different. But equal opportunity is what we are saying.
The 2025 theme, Accelerate Action, calls for urgency and inclusivity in addressing systemic barriers and biases against women. Momso Damien Ati, NTA News.
And we're here again. It's 2025 International Women's Day. It's time to accelerate action, and we'll bring in our guests. We have in the studio Mrs. Edna Azura. She's the president of the National Council for Women's Society. Thank you so much for joining us, Mrs. Azura, and happy International Women's Day.
Thank you for having me.
All right, it's another time where we get to bring women's issues on the burner. But this year's theme is very interesting. I like it. Accelerate action, and also, standing up for women and girls' rights, equality and empowerment. What does it say to us as a nation? Mrs. Azura.
Thank you very much for that question. For the issue of barriers that are affecting the women and girls in the country, they are so prominent. One is economic, one is education, empowerment, and health. So looking at this, they have become great barriers because our women not economically buoyant to stand on their own yet, although we have moved to a certain level when we look back to where we were before. And educationally, we need to scale our women up. So it's a challenge that is a barrier to this. That is why accelerating action even at this time.
Indeed, and if we want to paint a picture for Nigeria, this year actually marks the 30th anniversary of the Beijing Declaration. Now, we've seen progress made so far on women trying to have a place, even in elective positions, but it's still not enough. And according to World Bank, a World Economic Forum report, they said it would take up to like 5 generations, that is 2158, if I'm correct, before we can achieve, the world can achieve that gender equality we're fighting for. If you want to look at Nigeria, you know, the progress made so far, what more should be done?
Yeah, program has been made so far, as you just said, because actually there are women that have achieved in this country, and we can name them. We have even internationally and nationally women have achieved. We have those of our mother, Conjuela and Amina, all of them have achieved. They are not even here now, they are representing us globally. And even right here, we have women that are actually doing better and doing great. Even our First Lady, the First Lady of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Senator Olorami Bola Ahmed Tinubu, CON, is doing so well with her Renewed Hope initiative, whereby she's empowering women greatly, both socially and economically. And the Minister of Women Affairs is doing the same. Where women are in the Homes Affairs, they are doing. And so looking at what they are doing, we need to borrow from them and try to work hard so that we, by this time next year, we would have gotten a better data than what we have now. And the government of the country need to also play their role. We have so many policies that are working towards the empowerment of women, towards the education of women, and even their health, especially also the gender-based violence. I am agitating for that the government should pay attention to that, all those that are in authority, so that with that, these are the ways we will move forward and achieve the 35% affirmative action that we've been agitating for.
Indeed, and let's look at the gender-based violence issue you just mentioned. It's part of the barriers, you know, obstacles that women face, even the girl child. It's quite unfortunate if you hear people's story, Mrs. Azura. I'm sure you're familiar with that. How can women begin to speak out and support other women in order to bridge that gap?
They said charity begins at home. This issue of gender-based violence have so many barriers that are reasons why it is so. To start with, as parents at home, both the father and mother, we need to bring our children in the best way we can so that they will know their right from left, so that when they meet with people out there that they are not supposed to interact with, they should know right from the home. Not that it is outside at the street that somebody will educate them that do not do this or do not do that. Yeah. Neither should it be in the school, but at home. So we have all that role to play at home. And also in our schools, especially the basics, the primary schools especially, even the nursery schools, the teachers need to teach the children how they should package themselves as they move along the street, people they go along with. And the government of Nigeria should also try hard to make sure they stop hawking. Our girls should no longer be in the hawking business, so that when they are being confined in their environments or are in school, where at least there are people that are watching after them, I think this can also make it to be reduced. And again, our boys, especially in this dispensation that we are in, have gone so much into drug abuse, such that whether intentionally or unintentionally, when they see our girls, they decide into trying to rape them. And so gender violence has become on the increase because of these vices. And again, even at home, women do go through gender violence by maltreatment from their spouses. So with that, I think we need to come up with, there are certain laws that are prohibiting all that. And even if they are not, they need to be enacted so that this country will continue to be a decent country where peace and unity will thrive.
Indeed, and where every woman's voice is not silenced, Mrs. Azura, mothers, parents have a crucial role to play, and even schools, of course. How can we begin to promote that advocacy, especially in schools? They say catch them young.
Yes, that's true. Even last month in January, we were in Nasarawa State to do exactly what you said. We decided to choose one school around, and we decided to go to Karo local government in Nasarawa State, whereby we brought all the schools around there in one school, and we taught them about this gender violence, catching them young, and even we decided to go ahead and we had a club for them, whereby we have our ambassadors now from those schools who will be communicating to us which kind of violence they are experiencing and from who, so that we can adequately bring them to book those that are involved. In that we are in collaboration with FIDA, we draw their attention if we come across that this is just of recent. And that's what we hope to do, and other things that we need to do that will copy it down.
All right, Mrs. Azura, we'll take a break now. When we come back, we'll continue the conversation. Please stay tuned. Thank you for staying tuned. Before we pick up with the conversation, we'd like to hear from our correspondent in Lagos, Joy Ken Agbapoya, to tell us the Lagos State government, what is the Lagos State government rather doing to empower women and the girl child? Let's see that.
The Lagos State government, in line with its Themes Plus agenda, has over the years introduced initiatives to ensure that women and girls have access to quality education, economic opportunities and health care. From the Lagos State Employment Trust Fund and Women in Agriculture Cooperative to the Women's Economic Empowerment Policy Action Team and the Micro Enterprise Support Initiative, the state government has provided low-interest loans and grants to women entrepreneurs, helping them expand their businesses, while also equipping market women with financial literacy and digital skills.
We have trained women living with disability, women living with HIV/AIDS, women living with sickle cell, apart from communities and local governments that we've been to. We also have women in technology. We also have a lot in terms of driving women empowerment, agriculture, loans, access to finance, and really about encouraging women to really stand and be economically and financially empowered.
Education is also at the heart of the state government's empowerment programs. The Eco Excel initiative is improving primary education across the state and equipping young women with practical skills in fashion design, catering, and ICT, helping them build sustainable careers.
We have 19 skill action centers across the states where we train women on vocational skills and non-traditional skills for women that are technical in nature.
Access to quality health care is another major focus of the Lagos State government. Its Mother and Child Care Initiative, with specialized health centers and the Lagos State Health Insurance Scheme, are also making health care more affordable for women.
Family planning was another thing that Mr. Governor has done. He has matched our international partners' gestures, and so we had a lot of commodities to give, and this is all free, by the way. Women tend not to pay for virtually anything. We also do some level of cancer screening, especially for breast and cervical cancer. We have annual wellness checks. Our women are able to check their teeth. They are able to have, some dental extraction or dental work done. They can get glasses. All those things are under the scheme.
By intentionally investing in education, financial independence, and healthcare, especially for women and girls, observers are optimistic that Lagos State is building a brighter future for generations to come. In Lagos, Joy Ken Agbapoya, NTA News.
Well, earlier I told you 2025 marks the 30th anniversary of the historic 1995 World Women Conference in Beijing. Well, the conference made declaration and created a platform for action that set trajectory for the pursuit of gender equality globally. And as the world is marking the International Women's Day, President Xi Jinping of China, in commemoration of the landmark event, is convening another high-level meeting for global leaders to deliberate on gender equality and women's empowerment that would happen later in the year. Patricia Esamiluba will tell us more.
As a follow-up to President Xi's previous proposals, China will convene a global leaders meeting to assess progress and chart the future of women's development worldwide. With gender equality enshrined as a fundamental state policy, China has implemented national plans for the all-round development of women, empowering them to play pivotal roles in modernization. Chinese women have become role models, making substantial contributions to the nation's progress. Beyond its borders, China has actively supported global efforts for women's development. This includes partnering with UN Women, collaborating with UNESCO to promote women's education, and assisting developing countries in implementing 100 maternal and child health projects. Additionally, China has provided training for over 2,000 female professionals from more than 180 countries over the past 30 years. This year, Beijing will once again welcome leaders, policymakers, and advocates from around the world to discuss key issues affecting women's development globally. With anticipation, China looks forward to hosting this significant gathering, reinforcing its commitment to gender equality and empowerment of women worldwide. From Beijing, China, Patricia Esamiluba.
And turning our attention back home, Mrs. Azura, we've seen the support from the Global Front, turning it to Nigeria, especially in the aspect of mentorship. We have a lot of women who have succeeded in breaking barriers, but how can they become role models to empower young women, young girls, to have a place to understand that their voice matters?
Thank you very much for that question. The National Council of Women Societies, NCWS Nigeria, is found at the national level, at the state level, and down to the local government level, in fact, even the world level. So this is a good channel whereby such issues can be passed through to the last person at the grassroots level, and we are ready for that. We've been doing that, and that is how our women have been able to scale up in different fields of endeavor.
Okay, so I am made to understand that you're just more like a month since you became the DG of the council, but I would like to know what you're bringing on board, especially for women at the grassroots. What are you going to do to help empower women who are not empowered?
Thank you very much. The National Council of Women Societies, NCWS, was founded in 1958. We have 15 presidents, and I'm the 16th president. Right from the first president, we've been building upon each other. The second president built on the first one up to my time. So I will continue from where they have stopped. And maybe since the world is advancing and it's changing, I have little more other things to add, like data collection, to make sure that we know our data as NCWS members in the country, from the world level to the local government to state and then nationally. So when we get this data, it will help us in knowing how many women professionals we have in certain location, how many women we have that are completely housewives, they are just at home doing nothing, so that at that level we'll know which kind of empowerment we need to do for which group of women and at what level, and including our girls. We want to know their data. This is the addition I'm bringing. We want to know their data, how many girls are out of school at this ward and in this local government, in this state, and to the national level. And in so many sectors, we are trying to get that, and from there we take it on. Because the theme for this year accelerating action. All alone, we've been doing advocacy and a little of empowerment. But from now, we are scaling up. So with this data that I'm adding to what this 15 presidents have brought up, we are going to do much more better because we will understand exactly what we want, who are the group of people, and what exactly, is it ICT? Is it just skill acquisition, maybe in tailoring, maybe in bead making, or whatever it is we discover. Okay. And then we encourage them to enroll in school. We look for philanthropists and the government to make sure that our girl child attends school. Even the older women that were not opportune to be in school, with that data, we can also encourage them to be in school.
Indeed, education is power, and it's good that you're doing all this for the women. Mrs. Edna Azura, we want to thank you for coming on Weekend File. It is a wake-up call for each and every one of us, Mama, Papa, that young girl, that market woman, you know, that woman who is in a position to make policy decision. Time don't reach. There's a call for action. Thank you so much, Mrs. Azura. Let's take a break. We'll be back. Glad to know you're there. On the global scene, a Guinean court has jailed former Prime Minister Ibrahima Kassory Fofana for 5 years for embezzling public funds. Charles Alpha will bring us details now.
Fofana, who has been in prison since April 2022, headed the government under civilian President Alpha Conde from May 2018 until the military seized power in a September 2021 coup. He was found guilty for financial crimes by a special court set up by Guinea's military leaders shortly after taking power. The former premier was also ordered to pay a fine of 2 million francs. Fofana was accused of embezzling 15 billion Guinea francs earmarked for anti-COVID measures, economic and social programs under President Conde. Elsewhere, at least 2 persons have died and 186 others missing after 4 boats conveying migrants from Africa capsized overnight in waters off Yemen. Report says 2 crew members were rescued, but 181 migrants and 5 Yemeni crew members missing, while 2 other boats capsized off the African nation of Djibouti around the same time. 2 bodies of migrants were recovered and all others on board were rescued. Yemen is a major route for migrants from East Africa and the Horn of Africa trying to reach Gulf countries for work, with hundreds of thousands attempting the route each year. Charles Alpha, NTA News.
All right, next is sports update, and Ayo Deji is already set to fill us in. Ayo, the Nigerian Premier Football League, some matches held today. What were the scores?
Well, interesting scoreline, Ruth, including a valuable away win for Ikorodu City. But let's get to the lowdown, because league leaders, Remo Stars, maintained an 8-point lead in the Nigerian Premier Football League, despite going down 2-1 to Bendel Insurance in Benin on March Day 28. Meiwa Orishawayemi scored in the 2nd and 55th minute for Insurance before Remo Stars pulled one back in the 82nd minute through Arinze Samuel Anakwe. Elsewhere on Saturday, Shola Adelani's 81st minute strike was all Ikorodu City needed to secure a 1-0 victory over Lobby Stars of Makudi at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Stadium in Enugu after Lobby Stars changed their home ground from the Apiraku Stadium. On Sunday, Abia Warriors are at the Jos International Stadium to take on Plateau United. Kwara United entertained Kano Pillars Aimba, hostel Kanemi Warriors of Maiduguri and Heartland of Owerri. Welcome Bayelsa United. Elsewhere, Nigeria took a bold step towards reaching the final round of qualification for 2025 FIFA Women's Under-17 World Cup after Flamingos beat their South African counterparts Botswana 3-1 at the Lucas Morepe Stadium in Pretoria. Shakirat Mashoud opened scoring for Nigeria before Harmony Chidi netted a brace for the Bankole Oluokere coached team in a bid to reach the final of the tournament in Morocco from October 17 to November 8, 2025. It is the second time an Arab country will host the FIFA Under-17 Women's Tournament after Jordan in 2016. The return leg between Nigeria and South Africa holds next week at Remo Stars Stadium in Ikene Remo, Ogun State. Let's also tell you that Nigerian women vow to intensify efforts and project a common front for women emancipation in different sports at 2 separate events to celebrate International Women's Day in Nigeria. Former female athletes in the country, in collaboration with the Police Community Relations Committee and the Nigeria Olympic Committee Women's Commission, promised to continue to develop sports in the country by targeting deliberate development plans for talent discovery and nurturing them to become world beaters.
Women should unite, they should work hard, they should support themselves and support the men too, and work together with the men so that together we can be able to achieve a lot and we can be able to develop the women in our own country.
Women hold the world. Women are strong. Without women, there is no progress. And without women in sport, we would not achieve more in Nigeria.
Is to mentor the younger ones, to serve as role models. And that we have done today. We walked around the community, we spoke to the children, we told them about our achievements. And it's not only today, we have encouraged them and we have promised them that we'll continue to mentor them.
Now, for followers of the Spanish League, Catalan giants FC Barcelona called off their match against Osasuna this evening about an hour ago after the death of first-team Dr. Carlos Minero Garcia. The matchday 27 encounter built for the new camp will take place on a yet-to-be-decided date. Barcelona lead La Liga with 57 points, 1 point ahead of Atletico de Madrid and arch-rivals Real Madrid on 54 points. And that's your sports. It's back to Ruth.
Thank you so much, Ayo. And next will be weather update for tomorrow. Let's see that.
Welcome to the weather forecast. A surge of moisture is expected to sweep across the country in the next 24 hours, reaching the central cities, giving patches of cloud during the morning hours over the central cities and the southern regions, with chance of isolated thunderstorms over parts of Akwa Ibom and Cross River State. As we head into the afternoon, a more widespread thunderstorm activity is expected to unfold across the coastal cities, spreading to most parts of the inland cities of the south. Southern parts of Kwara, Kogi, and Benue can also expect to see stormy weather. Meanwhile, the northern regions will remain dry, sunny, and hazy throughout the forecast period. I'm Sefia Asenyinusa. Thank you for watching.
Now you know how the weather will look like also for Abuja residents. Please stay hydrated. The heat? Okay, let's leave it there. It's good night from me. Thank you for being part of Weekend File. I'm Ruth Aguele. Bye.